What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So season 9 is finally here, and we do have our hands on the new Krig 6 assault rifle from Black Ops Cold War. So this is an assault rifle that a lot of us were worried about because of the damage that was shown within the first previews that we saw. Of course, the Chinese version did get it maybe like a few weeks ahead of us. I'm not even sure if they even have a battle pass. I think they just randomly got it in game. I don't know how that happened. So we are still a few weeks off before the mythic skin comes out. I believe it's supposed to be the 4th in order. So yeah, in about maybe 2 to 3 weeks, we should be able to get that mythic Krig 6 dragon skin. But for now, let's actually talk about the Krig 6 because I do have quite a bit of comments. So this is an assault rifle. In terms of gunsmith, it's kind of like a hybrid between a normal gunsmith and a Black Ops Cold War type of gunsmith. So there are attachments from the normal gunsmith like skeleton stock and other stuff like that. They even have the MIP light barrel for this weapon, which has just basic properties of a gunsmith. Although there are a lot of different Cold War type attachments like the agency suppressor, the cavalry barrel, the task force barrel, etc. So the Krig 6 has a lot of different attachments, probably more than any assault rifle that I've seen. Typically, especially for mag attachments, typically for assault rifles, you get like maybe 2 or 3 different mag attachments. One's that's like a smaller extended mag, and then you have like a much larger extended mag, or maybe there's a fast reload. The only one that I could really think that competes in terms of the amount of different mag capacities is probably the Type 25. But this one has quite a bit of lot. I mean, you have the extended mag A, extended mag B, 2 different versions of a double stack mag, one that reloads faster, one that reloads a little slower, and then you also have the fast extended mag A and B, which are basically the 40 and 50 round mags, but you could actually like reload a little bit quicker with them at the cost of a lot of ADS speed. As for barrels, there are quite a bit of that as well. They do have Task Force, Cavalry Extended Barrel, Reinforced Heavy, the MIP Light Barrel, and I think that's it. But still, it's still quite a lot, and most of these barrels do increase bullet speed. The Task Force barrel, I think it increases it by 30% or 20%. The Reinforced Heavy also increases it by like 20%, but has a range boost of 20%. I think the same goes for the Task Force barrel as well when it comes to its range. The Cavalry barrel, I think that's the one that just simply increases the range, but the extended barrel increases the bullet speed by 50%. I know a lot of people are going to say that the Task Force barrels is the way to go, but it does increase your recoil by quite a bit. And even though this gun doesn't look like it has quite a bit of recoil, it does. Believe it or not, it does, especially if you're using the iron sight. But I would say that the Reinforced Heavy is something I'm more of a fan of because while it does decrease your speed a little bit, it pretty much gives you the same amount of bullet speed, or I guess nearly the same amount of bullet speed and the same amount of range as the Task Force barrel. So really the choice is yours on that matter. So as for the underbarrel grips, they kind of have the same ones. The BO4 grip, they have the field agent, all that stuff. Stuff that increases your recoil control, stuff that increases your sprint speed, just all that good jazz. As for the rear grips, it's the typical Black Ops Cold War rear grips. You know, they have the one that increases your ADS speed, the one that increases your flinch resistance, and there's also the one that increases your speed and flinch resistance. And as for muzzles, you know, they have the simple stuff, the muzzle brakes, the agency suppressor. I would say that using agency suppressor or the what's that little muzzle brake that increases your recoil control, those are really good choices. So now that we have most of the major attachments discussed, let's actually discuss the gun itself. So just let's talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, the iron sight is not the best, and I don't really mind it. I mean, most of the guns that we've gotten in the past have pretty decent iron sights, but I would say that this is probably one of the worst ones, and that's how the gun was designed. That's how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, like using a red dot sight is mandatory, especially if you're on phone or if you're like on a smaller screen. Of course, if you're like on a bigger tablet, like an iPad or like some Galaxy Tab or whatever they call it. Yeah, using iron sight's a little easier, but still it's not really the best, and it's probably because of all the aim shake that it has. So it's just best to wait for the mythic if you are interested in getting that, or just getting the epic skin because there's a little bit more of an opening with that one. But as for the damage and the range, it only really goes up to 30% at the very max. It's not really much of a problem because it already has a lot of range itself. But of course, if you want a 3-shot, with longer range, it's probably best to use the task force or even the reinforced heavy, or you could just use long shot. It doesn't really matter. But another factor that plays into getting long shots is the bullet speed. So the bullet speed is actually not that great with the Krig 6, and obviously for good reason. It's a very strong weapon. But when you're trying to get long shots, I think that's probably the biggest challenge of getting gold or Damascus. As for headshots and everything else, it's pretty easy given that the headshot damage is extremely high and it's almost effortless to do so. But for long shots, especially on high rise, you're going to have to burst your weapon a few times in order to just land your shots accurately. You can still get a 4-shot kill from a pretty long range, I will say that. But with bullet speed, if you don't have the right attachments, it's going to be a lot harder. That's why I always suggest using the extended barrel that gives you 50% more bullet speed so you can hit your targets much quicker. For that as well, I would also recommend using the compensator instead of the agency suppressor so you could have more recoil control. The agency only gives you like 10%, but the compensator gives you 25%. So overall, everything but the long shots is pretty easy. And even then, long shots aren't really that hard to get. I mean, especially if you're just going to be in a lobby full of like bots and maybe just one real person. So getting gold shouldn't really be too much of an issue. I already see a lot of people with the gold Krig 6 and a lot of people grinding it already. As for, getting Damascus on it, that's another thing. You actually do unlock it immediately, thankfully. You don't have to wait until like another weapon because obviously this is really the only weapon for the season. So finally moving to the class setup, I do have agency suppressor with extended barrel, long shot, fast extended mag B, and for firm grip tape. Keep in mind, this is a class setup that's still, I'm still trying to figure out what I actually want with it. Keep in mind, I already grinded diamond. I'm already done with that. So just give me like maybe a few days to, just try to find a perfect class setup for, most of the maps. So yes, this is really only for shipment. So anyways, that's going to conclude the video for the Krig 6. Like I said, I already grinded diamond on it, so I'm just going to use it a little bit more just to find out what I actually like with that thing. And then that'll be like the definitive class setup. So anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.